Festival day. Well, technically day two. I know a lot of people have been here all week, living through the rain and everything. And my name's Scott here at from the I Fired Myself podcast. Very excited to be here with all of you. We are going to be doing once again the lunch roundtable discussions with all the presenters and speakers, and there's a lot of cool stuff that we've seen already today. So I'm going to bring up my first guest, I guess, today. What was? Come on up. Viking Preparedness. I apologize. I forgot your PJ from Viking Preparedness. Welcome, my friend. How you doing?
Is that the camera?
That's the camera. And this is the audience. This is the camera. Actually, you know what? Before I do this, you're going to love this. I completely forgot. I was going to do an opener. But you can be on stage with me. Okay, so I got a whole... No, you're good. Stay with me. You stay with me. Okay, so we've got... this is inspired. This kind of came impromptu yesterday. And I was like, oh, we got to workshop this. So we have... today's edition of You Might Be a Prepper. Okay, you guys ready? All right, here we go. So if you ever bought a gun you didn't need just because the ammo was on sale, you might be a prepper. Oh, there you go. All right. If the delivery driver ever delivered a package to your house and they said, holy crap, what is in this? And you said, books, then you might be a prepper. Okay, there you go. So if your backup gun has a backup gun, then you might be a prepper, okay? And the last one, if your kids know the difference between 5.56 and 2.23 before they know their ABCs, you might be a prepper. So there you go. It's today's edition of You Might Be a Prepper. So, all right. Anyway, PJ, welcome to the stage. How you doing, man?
Thank you.
All right. So where are you coming from? Is that thing not working?
Hello. Yep, it works. We're coming from...
We can have a seat if you like.
Yep. We live in the Ozarks.
Oh, really? Whereabouts in the Ozarks?
In the Ozarks.
In the Ozarks. Okay. That's awesome. I've got friends in the Ozarks too. So there you go. Yeah. We got there's another community I'm involved in and building the whole campground area, like crowdfunded, bought the land, and then we do festivals each year and we go out and build infrastructure on the land each year. So
yeah, that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
And smart.
Yep. So that's outside of Mountain Grove, Missouri. So Ozarks. There you go. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. So okay, so I assume you've been doing this for a while, huh?
Since 2012.
2012. Okay, so what?
Doing the Ozarks thing. We've
doing
been
the
doing
Ozarks
the preparedness thing forever.
That's what I'm saying. You've been in the preparedness game forever. So tell me, like, what was like? Was this part of your family's culture growing up, or what was that?
Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit later today.
Cool.
But I grew up in a household that was preppers without knowing they were preppers.
Cool. So. Which is kind of what it was back in the day. Like, if you think about, like, in the 1800s, like, you were just... That's just what you were. Like, your life was like you had to know how to fix every single thing. You had to know how to either build or fix every single thing in your life. Every single thing in your life. You had to be 100% responsible for your food chain, like the supply chain of your food.
Yeah, grandma had a huge pantry, right?
Exactly. So obviously I think I've heard it even brought up multiple times since I've been here. It's like that whole mentality has just been lost in our modern society. And it's like, my opinion is, a lot of people see the ability to walk into a grocery store and find any type of food that you want on the shelf at any time, like that being freedom. We live in the absolute epitome of freedom,
right?
Because we have the ability. Yeah, because to a lot of people that's freedom, but that is in fact slavery. If you think about it, that is dependence. Dependence is slavery in a lot of ways, and so true freedom would be the ability to control all of that for yourself, like have your own ability to provide your own food for your family and everything like that. Like, but it takes a lot of work. I don't think anybody wants that in this day and age. So we're trying to change the paradigm, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, okay. So you came from a family of preppers that didn't know they were preppers. What motivated you to pursue this path? The way that you have, like, to make it like the primary thing in your life?
That's a good question. I'm looking at my wife, and from the time we started dating, we were preppers, and there was not. I don't have that one moment.
Okay.
Like this, Hurricane Katrina. I don't have that. I've been a prepper forever.
Okay, cool.
I mean, when I was a little boy, 8 years old, I remember. I might have been in 7th grade, so that's older than that. But me and a friend of mine took an ammo can, and we would use our allowance money in the summer to buy like an extra stick of jerky or a Slim Jim or a candy bar, and we had it in the woods buried in case we ever needed it.
That's great.
I was in 7th grade.
Yeah, exactly. You just instinctively knew to do that. Okay, so what would... I think for me, the biggest aspect of it is like community, having people that you can rely on, having people in your network that you can trust and then can build with. Like for me, it was like during the lockdowns during like 2020. I'd been looking into this stuff for a long time prior to that, but when that hit, like my first immediate reaction was, oh, I got to find the people because I hadn't really done a good job of cultivating like a mutual assistance group or any sort of friend groups that were kind of
Most
aligned.
preppers don't.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest
Yeah.
problems
Yeah.
in the prepper community, if you
Yeah.
will, the prepper sphere, is you have a lot of lone wolf. I can do this because if you think about it, I'm being prepared to handle things myself.
Yeah.
I don't need you.
Yep.
Well, it's a two-handed.
It is.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You need other people, and
Yep.
we can do a lot more together
Yep.
than we can as you're an individual and I'm an individual.
Yep.
And that's a hard thing to get through to people. Or you and I are going to pick one thing we don't like. You're not wearing a solid black shirt. I can't hang out with you. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? You know? So.
Well, that's just so pervasive in our culture in general, and it's like they rely the institutions and the establishment and the powers that be rely on our ability, our innate human, just we're designed to kind of like see other people as others in certain aspects, and they exploit that to the extreme. And so
They
I
do
think
exploit that. I was
it's-
wondering if you were going to go
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Get on X or
Exactly.
get on anything, and it's like, let's divide the people into compare that to like the old movies. It's a meme or a theme in an
Yeah.
old movie where a group of very different people are stuck on an elevator.
Yeah.
Or they go down on an airplane and they're bobbing around the ocean in a life raft. At first, they all see differences, but then at the end, it's like, hey,
Yep.
we got to work together to come through
Exactly.
this thing. And who cares if you're this and I'm that and she's that? But people, man, we're so free, we're so easy that we can focus on our differences.
Yep.
When I look
That's
at you,
true.
I look for something I disagree with.
Sure.
Not something that it's like, hey, we have this in common. And I wish
Yep.
people would flip that.
Yeah, and I think in like the anarchist, libertarian community or whatever, that's very pervasive for sure. It's like with survival, it's like, oh, okay, well, you use a cig, you're out of here, dude. Like,
Back when my wife and I joined the public prepper movement back right before the turn of the century, you had the different camps were divided into AK people and AR people.
Mm-hmm.
Are you AK or AR? And the arguments people would have were ridiculous.
Yep.
Just ridiculous.
Yep. I mean, geez, you need both. Come on, people. You need AKs and ARs.
Well, we settled that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, okay, so what would you say is the mission statement of Viking Preparedness? What is your main objective?
I'm trying to motivate people to become prepared, and the reason that I'm trying to do that is not just so that they can take care of themselves and their family, but honestly, the phrase, don't just survive, thrive, right? And I don't like that phrase. But I tell people, I want you to not just take care of you and yours, but start helping other people.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent that we can get that person over there to be prepared, that person is now not going to be an immediate problem for me.
Exactly.
And to the extent, you can judge the greatness of a man by the size of the circle or woman they draw around themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's too many people that are really selfish, and it's like just me and my family. What about you and your family and your neighbors?
Mm-hmm.
What about you and your family and your community? What about you and your family and your tribe?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a longing for that. You brought it up in the very beginning of this podcast. It's like, a longing to be part of a group of people on the one hand.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, it's like, you're not exactly like me. I don't want to hang out with you.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Well, I think events like this are such a powerful way to kind of break that down because like there's so many people here from different backgrounds.
Find your tribe.
Yeah, find your tribe.
Right,
find your tribe, folks. And so, like I was saying, like my biggest thing during like the lockdowns was like we got to find our people. We got to find our people. So like creating places for people to congregate and come together. And we may not all see the world the same, but it's like if we come and are aligned around a certain aspect, like one thing, like for us, it was like we're not buying this whole lockdown COVID thing. Like that's what we all kind of aligned with. But there was out in Oregon too. So there was like hippies, there was like military people. Like we were all coming together and we're like, okay, this is a bunch of crap for sure. So what would be your advice for people who are maybe seeking community, maybe trapped in that mindset of being like, oh, I can do this on my own, but maybe starting to the veil starting to fall a little bit? Yeah, maybe I do need some help and support. What would be your advice to those people out there for community building?
Right. My advice is to go to where the people are. Things like this, right? This prepper festival.
Yeah.
I host Viking preparedness meetups all
Cool.
over the country. I don't host them. People
Yep.
host them.
That's great.
And I tell people it's not a Viking thing. Invite everybody. Invite your church. Invite your Boy Scout friends. Invite whoever. And then the real advice is once you get to this event, don't be a fly on the wall. I'm actually really introverted, believe it or not. I go out of my way to talk to people and to have conversation, but you have to do it. Don't be the guy or gal that puts on the dark sunglasses, sits in the back of the room with your arms crossed. Go talk to people, have real conversations with people, and understand that you're not going to connect with most of the people. That's okay. You're looking for the one or two or three. And then my advice is when you meet them at one of these events, before you leave, get their contact information and set up a second meeting.
Yep.
I find out you like playing pickleball. Dude, there's a great pickleball spot. Let's go do it next Wednesday. But get that. You have to work on relationships. They don't just happen. You're not just going to find your group of people. You're not just going to build one. You have to work on relationships. So that's my advice.
That's amazing. And I could resonate with that so much. So for me, it kind of evolved out of, so I'm like a 12-step guy, right? Like I'm like going back almost 10 years now, And the value of the community aspect there. It's the same idea where it's like you go to a meeting, find your people. We all come from different backgrounds. We're not going to agree on almost anything other than the fact that we're there to get sober, and that's it. And then the first advice is get phone numbers, find your people. So anyway, so when COVID hit, and we started like myself and a couple of friends started organizing these meetups in the Freedom Cell Network, and we actually turned into a pretty big group. And we had that's what we did exactly. And we started a Telegram group for all the people that so we had a public facing Telegram group, and then we had a inner circle one for people who had actually shown up to the meetings, and so we cultivated that community, and it was just like it saved our lives absolutely during the lockdown area. So I'm going to look into your communities because that's there's several. There's Make Americans Free Again. There's Beartaria. There's a lot of different of these types of meetup groups that was that Margot? Oh, okay. I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, that's my dog out there. Anyway, so I'm going to look into Viking preparedness. And anything else you want to say to the people? And please tell us how they can find, follow, and support you.
So Viking preparedness, most of my stuff is on Patreon. I post every day on Patreon. You can find us there. And very rarely anymore I post on YouTube.
Okay.
Patreon.
Cool. Awesome.
And I'll be talking to everybody at 1.
Awesome. All right. Well, PJ, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate you taking the time. See you at 1. Thank you. All right. Oh, we got the midwives coming, folks. Okay, awesome. So we have Ashley. How are you doing? I'm Scott. Ashley, very nice to meet you. Come on up here. We'll give you a microphone. So we may have to just share microphones. So we're just going to figure this out. But go ahead and have a seat here. We'll just get started. So,
all right, thanks.
All right, you guys. So this is fascinating for me. So, all right, here we go. Okay. Kristen and Brittany. All right, what's up, you guys? I'm Scott. Nice to meet you. Okay, guys, so tell us the names again one more time.
I'm Ashley. I'm a certified professional midwife.
I'm Maggie. I'm a birth doula.
Perfect.
I'm Kristen. I am a doula and a student midwife, hopefully certified in the next 2 months.
Perfect. All right, well, welcome, ladies. Thank you so much. I was able to listen to your presentation, and it resonates a lot with me. So I don't have any kids, right? That hopefully eventually, but this has been a topic that I've found a lot of interest in over the years. So for me, it really started pre-2020. I mean, I have been looking into all this stuff about government corruption and all this stuff. Like I could talk about 9/11 and whatever, MK Ultra till the cows come home prior to 2020. So I was up to speed on all that. We started a podcast after 2020 where we started exploring these topics further because the whole idea was that in order for people to understand what was going on with the lockdowns, they needed to understand all these other topics, right? And I had a co-host who had 5 children, okay? And they were all home birth. And one of the first episodes we did, she said, we have to do an episode on home birth and hospital birth. And I was like, what do you mean? Like hospital birth, right? I don't understand. So this is one of the last veils to fall for me was the idea of hospital birth. The idea of the United States has one of the lowest or the highest infant mortality rates in all the developed countries. Like I was looking it up back there while you were talking. The United States is like the bottom of all Western developed countries, and only getting worse. And it's like if you look at the list, it's like and I've covered this topic before, and like I've said that all the countries that are below the United States in terms of like infant mortality, like all the ones that are worse, like I would never go to any of those countries. Like they're all like third world countries. Like we're like the bottom. So that red alone should tell you that there's a red flag there. So we have like obviously the most bloated, expensive healthcare system in the entire world, but they can't even serve their patients and their clients by delivering babies in a healthy, safe manner. So anyway, I thought we'd kick it off with that. So go ahead if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, that reminds me when my mom had her first at home around 46 years ago, the childbirth education that she went to really actually dove into what are the statistics in countries where midwives are catching babies, where more moms are birthing at home. Their outcomes are so significantly better than ours in the United States. And at that point in time, like learning these things, she's like, heck yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my babies at home. And so she had 6 children at home. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Did any of you had any thoughts about the infant mortality in hospitals or anything like that?
A lot of thoughts.
Yep. Let loose.
Well, one of the things that we see a lot in hospitals is they'll say, imagine if you'd given birth to this baby at home, you would have died. You go, no, if we would have given birth at home, this problem wouldn't have happened in the first place. There's so much that needs to be said about the health of the people who are giving birth and their knowledge about what foods they need to be eating and what herbs that they can be putting into their bodies that's going to help them with different things instead of let me fix this with a pill. I'll have clients that say, okay, their sugar is getting a little bit high, right? This baby might get large. And so then the doctor says, okay, let's just put on all the medications. At home, we have you recording what you're eating. And then we measure your blood sugar and we say, okay, this is spiking your blood sugar. Don't eat that. Let's manage that by making you healthier instead of trying to fix it with a pill that has all of these side effects. And we trust you to take care of yourself. There's a buy-in there. Our clients are people who say, I am in charge of making sure that I am healthy. And so if we say we need you to read this and learn on it and eat these things, you're going to do it. And we believe you that you're going to do that. They don't do that at the hospital. They say we give them information that we expect that they're not going to do it unless it's just a pill, it's just a shot, it's just something like that we can do to kind of put a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. And so that lack of trust is a huge thing. That lack of relationship is a huge thing that you're missing that's leading to these mortality rates.
And also as a doula, you know these statistics, you learn these things, but when you are there and you start to see it, you see how things play out in a hospital, and then you attend a home birth and you're like, similar thing just happened, but those were handled drastically differently. You just start to see that back and forth more and more. And it's like, I'm not a medical provider, but I'm pretty sure that didn't have to be handled that way in a hospital setting. And you just start to like see the drastic differences between the two and how they play out. And then those statistics, you really understand why they are that way.
Yeah. And I heard somebody mention in your presentation, like, those are the numbers they give us too. Like, I'm sure they have a way to like doctor their numbers a little bit too. You know what I mean? So it's like, no pun intended, doctor the numbers. There you go. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so
I'll comment on that really
ahead.
quick about the numbers because it makes me think the World Health Organization recommends that the max number of cesareans that are required is 10 to 15% maximum for the best outcomes, not more than that. In the United States, our cesarean rates are more than 30%. And yet, as Dr. Stu, somebody who has a lot of wise words, says, somehow no doctors are doing unnecessary cesareans, even though half of our cesareans are unnecessary.
Wow. Half of our cesareans are unnecessary. So there you go, at least. So, and so one of the big piece of information that opened my eyes to this topic was the Ricky Lake documentary, The Business of Being Born, right? If you guys haven't seen that, that was a massive eye-opener for me. And it was at the time, it was before the whole COVID vaccine situation rolled out, but we were like, okay, we knew it was coming. We're like, all right. and from my experience, like that's kind of how I got into this space mostly, was speaking out against the vaccine. Like, at least just be like, you guys, you might want to take a look at this before you inject yourself with whatever this government's mandating that you inject yourself with. And the amount of opposition I got from the medical establishment, primarily because they're the most indoctrinated. Like, for them to be wrong, or for because we're coming at them with information that challenges their entire worldview, everything that they know and hold dear, their entire career, profession, everything. For us to even have a leg to stand on in an argument would mean that everything that they hold dear is invalid, right? And so obviously you're going to come up against just a massive amount of resistance, contempt. Like, it was insane that I went through that, and that was over the vaccine issue. So hearing the conversation you all were having about, that in terms of the service you're providing for patients, and then again, you're coming at them with something that challenges every single thing that they know and hold dear. And so it's like, I just felt in my core, like, oh, I know exactly what that must feel like. So I know you touched on a little bit in your presentation, but I thought it'd be worth bringing to the people here. What sort of, how do I even characterize this? So what is it like when you do end up going to the hospital? If you determine that that's the best outcome for your client, your patient, what is that like typically? Do you get resistance? Are they friendly, or what's been your experience with that?
It definitely depends on the hospital and who is on call at the time. You kind of just cross your fingers and hope that you get somebody that's not going to have a lot of judgment or hatred for your decisions.
Yeah.
And I heard Ashley say it earlier. You kind of try to kill them with kindness at first to get on their good side, and hope that we can keep, advocating for our wishes and our preferences. But, transfers that I've seen, sometimes they're handled beautifully as far as like opposition or not. But there have been times too where, the nurse and the doula aren't even allowed in the delivery room until after the baby is born. And we must not know anything is kind of the way that we're treated. And one time there was I'm the doula, and the midwife and I came into the room after the baby was born, and the nurse was like, the baby was born facing up, like sunny side up, like talking to us like we were just some like backwoods hippie people that don't know anything about birth. We're just like, woo. And we're like, oh, you mean OP? We do know actually what you're talking about, and probably could explain it better than you could.
Yep. The baby's born sunny side up, folks. Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I heard you talk about some strategies that you guys implement to kind of ease that. Well, first of all, I want to say I really want to commend you for doing the outreach, like kind of bridging the gap ahead of time, like kind of proactively. I think you guys were talking about how you actually go into the hospitals and kind of just create awareness, right? To me, it seems like it's you could almost package it as a benefit to the hospital. It's like, look, we're taking a huge amount of demand off of your hands, like we are delivering babies, so you don't have to. Like, come on now. But they're like, do you feel like it's more so they're looking at it as like a customer lost type of situation, or is it more so like you're creating more work for us, or is it like what do you think is the core of that?
I think
Here,
a lot.
Sometimes it just cuts out. There you go.
I think it's a lot of different things, including biases for sure, very strong biases, and just it's a completely different model of care.
Yeah.
And I think that it's more feeling like an attack on them personally, that people would want to choose a different model of care than the one that they're providing. And that's a big part, along with like they don't see our wonderful home births. They only see the ones that we are having some challenges and we're coming in with, and so that is harder. And yeah, what do you think?
So it's a huge paradigm shift for them, right?
Yeah.
They've gone to school for how long? They have invested how much of their lives into this, and they think that they have made all of these sacrifices and done all of these things to save people's lives, right? There's a lot of people with hero complexes in medical work. They think they're saving people that they're not, and that would be really hard for you. And then they think that this expensive machine that goes beep is the one that's going to save, and it's an affront to everything that they do, and a lot of people, how they identify themselves, that we're bringing in a couple bags worth of equipment that most of it doesn't even need electricity because we don't need it. And we can do safe births, and they need all of these things, and they think that's not possible. They must be quacks.
Yep.
Right? So they're putting these people in danger, and I am the hero that's saving them. Therefore, we are opposed to each other now. So it's literally an affront to their identity and the way that they see the world, that it's possible to give birth without all of these expensive things.
Yep.
And on that note, just the training, kind of like what Kristen said, is so different. And it makes me think of a transfer that I had last year. And the mom had a very normal birth in the hospital after choosing to transfer. She was having some heavier bleeding, and the doctor was like, I cannot deliver your placenta until this cord is clamped and cut. And it's really hard to respond to such inaccurate information.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And that's a challenge, is when they believe things that are completely not accurate and are trying to present that to our clients or their patients. And it's like, okay, but like pretty much any placenta that we have at home, the cord is not clamped and cut until the placenta is delivered. And you're telling me you can't deliver a placenta until the cord is clamped and cut. And so, like, just their training is not in physiological birth. It's
surgical birth.
And so, yeah, even specifically cord related, that is a big hiccup for a lot of OBs. That think baby comes out and we immediately clamp and cut the cord.
Yep.
And we talked a little bit earlier in our presentation about that's that baby's lifeline. They're getting oxygen that way. We're not going to stop that flow of oxygen to the baby. But when they just have this mindset, there's so many doctors that still believe that if you do not clamp and cut that cord right away, or if you hold the baby lower than the placenta, then the baby's blood is going to go back to the placenta. But that is not how it works physiologically. And they haven't been trained in physiological birth.
Yeah, fascinating. And then also the hospital too. It's like a hotel. It's like they got a bed to fill, and it's like we got to get them in and out. Doctors got to, like, even in the Ricky Lake movie, she makes the point that always stood out to me. It's just like, it is like a business. Like, they're running it like a business. Like, the doctor has a tee off with his buddies at 9 a.m. That baby's coming out by 8 a.m. no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, if we have to cut her open, like, it doesn't matter. And it's like, we're cutting the cord, we're getting them out, and we're bringing the next one in. Like, it's just like an assembly line, right? So it's just that it's like, that's not the way it was meant to be. And again, like I was talking with JP, some of the things we talk about all the time with preparedness and all this stuff, like, that's just the way it was back in the day. Like, home birth, I got news for you. That's how it was for like tens of thousands of years, okay? And this whole hospital thing is like this new thing that's come along, and it's, so that's why I have so much fascination over like the current medical paradigm as the establishment, and it's like, okay, like the breastfeeding thing, for example, right? For a while there, that was demonized, that was vilified, that was considered abnormal to breastfeed, right? And you know about the whole Nestle story, the story with the Nestle baby food formula stuff, like
in Africa.
Well, in Africa and here too, it's yeah. So it's like that was just a huge thing where they demonized and for like corporate profit to make breastfeeding seem strange. You know what I mean? And
that's
so
what poor people do.
That's what poor
they
people
can't
do.
afford formula.
Exactly. So that sort of thing. So these are just examples of how just basic human function has been kind of demonized and marginalized, and it's like, and they've done such a good job at it. When you think of things like, we need to leave the umbilical cord attached for an extended period of time because that's like where the nutrients are coming from. If you leave the baby in, all the juices and the oils and all that stuff, it's like, that seems so primitive and just like, oh, they've done such an amazing job of creating that mindset in people. You know what I mean? Like, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, like bathing the baby. We talked about that.
Yeah, like in a hospital setting, they want to try to bathe baby within the first 24 hours of being born. At home, contrast, let's wait 2 weeks. Baby's not like sweaty and stinky when they're born. the vernix that the baby is born with, the white layer on their skin, it's actually better to rub it in than wipe it off. It's a protective microbiome barrier. But if it's being washed off, soap and water wash, first day of life in the hospital system setting, what are you exposing your baby to in the hospital, in the air? What is it? At home, the baby's in their own microbiome, their own bacterias of everything that they know. So, you know, such a contrast in like more protecting baby versus, you know, exposing baby to whatever and setting them up. You know, are we already like drying out their skin for the rest of their life, you know, within the first 24 hours? So it's a whole bunch of things that we don't have to be doing.
Antibiotics. Can we all talk about that nonstop for the next couple of days? I mean, honestly, we're giving moms antibiotics in labor. We're wiping out their microbiome, which means that the baby, because babies, when they're in utero, they don't have a microbiome. It's a completely sterile environment. The first microbiome that they get is when they are being born. And so if we have a baby that is being born in a mom that has her microbiome has been completely wiped out, then they're not getting that exposure. Or if we're having a baby that's being born through belly birth, they're not being exposed to that either. Now let's take that same baby and instead of giving them breast milk, where they're going to get exposed to mom's microbiome, let's give them formula. Why on earth do you think we have all of these allergies? Where do we think all of these incredibly, we have no idea where they're coming from, health problems are coming from for our entire lives just out of nowhere? We're not giving babies a microbiome at all and then sending them out into the world to face germs. That's, I can't imagine why we consider that clean versus at home we're saying, okay, let's get you all of the microbiome. Let's give you all the support. And we're going to teach people, and I know I keep harping on this, how to do their own health, how to eat the right food so that when baby is born, they're exposed to healthy microbiomes. Not I fixed it with a pill, but I'm actually giving my baby not a great start at life because of the microbiome that they're being born into. That's going to make a huge difference for their entire life and generationally, because once you have that sick child grow up and then do the same thing to give birth, it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Absolutely.
Just one really quick point on that same line about microbiomes and such. I mean, there was a very real functional design why our butthole is so close to our birth hole. Like, babies were made to be in that proximity to help with their microbiome as well.
Fascinating. Okay, there you go. It's kind of like it was all designed for a reason. And I love this stuff because it kind of like, yeah, right, exactly. Well, it's just it's so fascinating to me because it almost like people would consider that kind of woo-woo type stuff, like having it, but it's like I love it. It's like back to nature. Like this is the way it was designed, and the system tries to get rid of that, man. Like it's so crazy. So I have some friends who and I know there's a big community out there. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. And they're some of my best friends. I consider him like probably my best friend. Him and his wife, what they call free birth, right? Yeah. So they did wild pregnancy and free birth. Now I think that the idea with that being that when you go to the hospital and they're doing the ultrasounds and they're telling you all this stuff, and I've heard so many horror stories of like doctors saying like, hey, there's like a 80% chance your kid's gonna be born with Down syndrome. We can terminate the pregnancy right now and call it good. And then the baby's born and it's just fine. And it's like, whoa, dude. Okay. So they wanted to completely avoid the entire hospital system entirely because they didn't want any cortisol, no negative thoughts, no nothing. So for all of you that know, wild pregnancy is no hospital checkups, nothing. They are just doing everything, but they're like, super plugged in. They were like she'd been researching. I've known them for years. She'd been researching how to be a mom for years before they even got married. And it was like the most intentional pregnancy ever in history. And they just wanted to do it the right way to the best of their abilities. And so they'd done all this research about how to do it themselves. And we're in these communities and they did the full wild pregnancy. And then they gave birth home, just the two of them. And I was like, that is so crazy to me. That's so wild. Even still, I can't wrap my head around that. And it's like to them, I think a lot of that, and maybe a lot of people in their shoes, that's the response to the distrust of the medical system, right? Like, so the distrust of the medical system has gotten to the point to where people are doing that, like at home. And so I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I have a lot of respect and understanding for people that would make that choice, and especially that are, taking it all into their own hands. And that's a really big deal and really important to come into with the right mindset, which it sounds like they had the kind of mindset that's required for that. Because some people, might make choices just for financial reasons or unrealistically optimistic
Yeah.
as far as like not actually being prepared for like what happens if there's a complication.
Yep.
Like you have to be able to accept all responsibility to make that kind of a choice. And so I can definitely respect and understand that perspective, while obviously still valuing like the skills and knowledge that a midwife brings to the table.
Absolutely.
And obviously from a midwifery as a midwife, I believe that home birth is a safe option for low risk pregnancies. And so the care that I provide throughout pregnancy is continuing to check in and assess and be like, is this still a low risk situation that is appropriate for home birth? And so there's different assessments that are happening, whether it's like, seeing if you have anemia, like doing an ultrasound to check your placenta's position, making sure placenta. Yeah. So typically your placenta is in a place that is like fine, attached to wherever on the uterus. The concern is primarily if it's over your cervix, over the opening, because if your placenta is over your cervix, then when your cervix starts to dilate, then it's detaching that placenta. You can have severe bleeding and could potentially cause a death for mom and baby. And so having that knowledge ahead of time can help make safe choices. That's one of the most clearly important reasons to have cesarean as an option, is what's called placenta previa. And so those kind of check-ins are like, okay, are things appropriate to continue moving forward? What's blood pressure like? Are we concerned about preeclampsia? Because some of these things are very serious and life-threatening issues that we're assessing throughout pregnancy care. And so those are from the midwifery perspective, like this is why we're checking in to make sure that this is still a safe and appropriate option. And then obviously like the tools that we're bringing to birth to be prepared to manage helping babies breathe and manage hemorrhages, because it can be really challenging if those things do occur, which thankfully most of the time they're not going to, but they do occur in the home birth setting still. And it is very challenging for moms and partners to manage independently. And sometimes moms and partners might go to the hospital for something that a midwife could have managed at home, but since they didn't have the tools necessary, they end up needing to go to the hospital to manage that complication.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what I like to say for people that are looking for less care is I say, okay, the only way that you can truly have informed consent for whatever care you're receiving from yourself or another person is if you accept that you might be the one in this statistic. So if you know what the potential outcome is for you, maybe potentially having a placenta previa, for having a breech baby that is coming out and then their head gets caught and you don't know how to get it out, those kinds of situations, if you accept that you might be that one, and then you're okay with the potential outcome from that, or you have a plan for how to mediate it, then you have true informed consent and complete and full support to do whatever you feel led to do. If you think, but I won't be that one, then you're not truly understanding what you might potentially be facing, and then that's where things get really dangerous.
That's a very good point. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. But so where are you all located? Where are you all based out of?
I'm in the Kansas City area,
Kansas
both in Kansas and Missouri.
Okay. Same. Okay.
Yeah, I'm based out of Lenexa, Kansas.
Okay. Well, if you're looking for these services in the Kansas City area, is there a place anybody can find, follow, support you, any of that stuff?
Yes, I'm at No Place Like Home Birth Casey is my Instagram. Isn't that fun?
That is genius. Okay, if you guys didn't know, we're in Kansas, no place like home birth, okay? Just so you know. If you guys get the reference, hilarious. Well done. Well played. Excellent branding. Bam.
My doula website is MD Birth Services.
Perfect.
And I work with a nonprofit called Birth It Forward. Play on Pay It Forward.
Birth It Forward. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you all so much for your amazing work and taking the time today. Thank you. All right. Cool. All right. We're going to keep this gravy train going. That was awesome. What do you guys think? That was pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Very fascinating. It's like, what do we got? What do we got, Bobby? Okay, great. Grab it. Are we in? We don't have anybody else coming up?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Okay, I saw the guy with the taxation is theft shirt, and I'm like, bro, bring it on.
What? Grumpy, come here. Come here. I'll give him to you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I thought we were talking. I totally thought we were talking.
We're going to do this last little bit, and then we're going to get reset at 1 o'clock. Pastor Joe Fox from Viking Preparedness will be coming up. But we have a new author in the house.
Nice.
So,
what's up,
welcome,
man?
Grumpy G.
What's up, man? I'm Scott. Nice to meet you. Garrett, nice to meet you. So what do we got?
Everybody calls me Grumpy.
Grumpy G, City Survival 101. Oh, I got to get a copy of this, dude. I'm in Nashville. Oh, yeah, it's going to be popping off.
That's what I wrote it
Yeah,
for.
okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about your book.
Okay, so I wrote this book
Hold
because
a little bit closer. Sometimes it goes out, too, so you got
a little bit.
Yeah.
There, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I wrote this book because a friend of mine developed this framework for preparedness when he was in the Gulf. And he brought it back, and I met him, and we started implementing this in our daily lives. And it's a holistic approach to preparedness because there's 10 aspects of preparedness. They all interact with each other, and when one of them starts to feel strain, they all feel strain. And so it's a different way to look at preparedness. And I wrote this book. It came about because I got a YouTube channel, and I was trying to find some content, of course. So I just took what we had done with the full spectrum preparedness, and I was like, well, what can I write about? And so I did an entire video series on urban preparedness, looked at all the 10 aspects, and I have always wanted to be a author. I've done some stuff, had some stuff put online, but it was all free, different things. So I was like, what the heck, why not? So I wrote it, and I'm not going to lie, I am very proud of this book. I think anybody that picks it up will find it. If you're new and you're not sure what you should do, you're living in a city, you live in a small space or in the suburbs, you've got people sitting on top of you, you've got aging infrastructure, you're sitting at the end of just-in-time supply lines that are long, literally stretching halfway across the world. It's daunting, and paralysis, that analysis paralysis, people feel that, and this is just something to help you organize it and become more prepared. And also if you're if you've been doing it for a while, I hope that some of the things in here will make you think differently. The foreword of the book is written by Del Goodwin, who goes by the moniker of Survivalist Prepper on YouTube. Cool. He's one of the OGs. He's one of the OGs in the preparedness. I was listening to him back in 2010. In fact, him, Pastor Joe, Southern Prepper One, Wrangle Star, all those guys. Oh, yeah. All those guys are the OGs. They've been at it for a very long time. Yep. And they all have an influence on me. So, and that's just it.
That's awesome. Well, where can people get a copy of the book?
I've got 4 copies. I got 4 copies I can sell today. We didn't get it. It didn't come out till Monday.
Do you sell it online? Do you have like an Amazon link?
I've got Amazon. I've got a QR code that I can share with people to take you directly to the page.
So people watching at home, how can they get it?
You can go to Amazon. Go to our YouTube channel, grumpyacres.com.
Grumpyacres.com.
And we do a live every Tuesday night. So the Tuesday night live has the link to the book and everything, and you can find it, and just do a search on City Survival 101 and you can find it. It's $16.99 for the paperback.
Cool.
I was amazed at how much it cost to print a book.
Yeah.
Going.
Oh, yeah.
into it. But yeah, so yeah, you can get it, and if you want a signed copy, we'll be taking orders, and we'll get them, we'll sign them, we'll mail them directly to your house.
Perfect, man. Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time. I'm going to check it out. Yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely. All right, guys. Give it up. Grumpy G. Grumpy G. All right,
Give
guys.
it up for Grumpy G and for Scott for
Yeah.
hosting a second
Thank you,
round of our
guys.
podcast.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
At 1 o'clock, the next presenter, which is Pastor Joe Fox, will be on deck. So, in the meantime, go take your worthless fiat, give it to them for a worthless little ticket that you might actually win something worthwhile that supports the show. We'll see you back up here at 1 o'clock, folks.